Howdy, y'all. Welcome to Rolling with the Punches. I'm Jessie Punch, and I'm so happy you're here. We shot this week's episode up in Mooresville, which more on that in a second. First, I'm going to talk about myself. This gave me an excuse to go to my absolute favorite place in Mooresville, all-time favorite spot to visit. That's right, you guessed it. The North Carolina Auto Racing Hall of Fame and Museum. I love that place. Seriously, I stop by anytime I have an opportunity to. Sometimes I just make the 30-minute drive up there just to go, that's embarrassing. But I'll stop in. I gotta say hi to my friend Susan, hanging out, working behind the counter. I like to see what they've updated since I've been there last because they don't consult me on these things. So I have to go check them out for myself. If you saw my post on Reels or TikTok with the fire suit wedding dress, that is in the museum, so this is the place I'm talking about. And this time, speaking of new, they had this incredible, giant, Alan Kulwicki portrait of him. He looked like Top Gun. He's got on the aviator sunglasses and a leather jacket, and it's signed. Just beautiful. It was clearly new because it was leaning up against the exhibit, and I talked to Susan about it, and they just had it donated, so I'm gonna have to go back next time and see it actually up in the exhibit. But this place is incredible, and this isn't even an ad, okay? I'm just a total nerd. But the reason I bring this up is because this time I left with 4 to 5 boxes of old NASCAR magazines. I know a lot of people don't find that as fun as I do, but when I tell you this was the most fun I've had sifting through these magazines last night, Joey and I sat on the floor. There are probably a couple hundred of them, give or take. Yeah, a lot to go through, but some incredible gems in there. Just the photography, the news, being able to look through these magazines was going back in time. It's just different. It's a type of media that we don't have anymore, and getting to sort through them felt really special. So that is my project for the foreseeable future. We'll be sifting through these magazines, reading these old articles, and I am very excited about that. So keep up on social if you want to see what I'm doing, because it is a very exciting time over here in the Punch Bowl. And I know what you're thinking. And by you, I mean mom. Why do you need 4 to 5 boxes, a couple hundred racing magazines from the 90s and 2000s? That is a great question. I'll tell you why. It is an investment. Yeah, it is a responsible investment in my future, in my children's future. I mean, think about it, Mom. Between these 250 or so racing magazines from the 90s and 2000s and my stellar vintage NASCAR jacket collection, my kids are set for life. I don't know what they're set for, but they're set for something for life, all right? So no more questions, thank you. On another completely unrelated note, please keep up, I saw a video weeks ago now that I have not been able to stop thinking about. Yes, I have already talked about this on TikTok, and I'm gonna talk about it again. That is how passionate I am about this video, okay? It is a couple. They got married in a Waffle House. I'm gonna say it again. They got married in a Waffle House. I know, right? I know. I didn't even know you could get married in a Waffle House. But of course you could get married in a Waffle House. You can do whatever you want in a Waffle House. Come on. But I never would have even thought like that. My brain would have never even registered at the idea of having a wedding in a Waffle House, taking those two things that you love and combining them just because you can. And in all seriousness, that's why this video stuck with me. These two people were so authentically themselves that they said, forget traditions, forget what people expect us to do. Let's get married at a Waffle House. And that really resonated with me. And it just reminded me that we have free will in this life to do whatever the hell we want, including getting married at a Waffle House, including taking 250 free NASCAR magazines from the 90s and 2000s. So live your life however you want to. That's today's story, which actually leads me in a somewhat related note, again, keep up, to this week's interview. I chatted this week with Layne Riggs, who, the reason I say that is because he is so authentically himself. It was refreshing. He's comfortable, he's confident, he's down to earth. Truly, what you see is what you get with Layne. He was so kind to have us over to Front Row, right there in the middle of the shop, right there in the middle of race week. They're trying to get the trucks out to IRP. There's a timer on the wall ticking down to when they're supposed to be out the door. You'll hear us reference that a couple times. So when I tell you we were in the middle of it, we were right there in the middle of it. And you see that if you watch on YouTube. But anyways, he is incredibly smart, has a degree in engineering, which is unreal to think about, especially when you think about the fact that he's in his second full-time season in the NASCAR Truck Series, has an entire career in racing and an entire degree, and did them both at the same time. Wild story and just wildly impressive. Layne is also the son of Scott Riggs, who you may remember driving in NASCAR. He drove in the Cup Series. So you'll hear us talk a little bit about that and his background and his upbringing, although he does have a bit of a different upbringing than your typical, driver's kid that you would assume. So I'm very excited for you guys to get to know Layne, a little bit of who he is outside of the race car, because you're already starting to hear a lot about him inside the truck, and you're only going to be hearing more. So, without further ado, I'll stop yapping, and here is Layne Riggs. I've officially reached the watching everything with subtitles stage of
well, it's
hearing
kind of
loss.
nice, especially if you're eating and you're like,
yeah,
instead of having to rewind it. You get used to it though.
For sure, you definitely get used to it, and then I realized that it's not the norm when someone else. I watch something with somebody, and then they're like, "Why are the subtitles on?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh, you don't like to read your movies?"
Yeah.
I don't either, but here we are. It's fine. I feel like we have an audience in here.
What's up?
It's too quiet.
I know.
Regis and Kelly.
Y'all can come on in.
Yeah.
You're more than welcome.
Yeah, Brandon, you want to get a guest appearance?
I actually got some stuff in the back to take care of.
Well, that's good.
Oh, how quickly everybody is very busy out of this room.
Yeah, it's funny. It's okay. I appreciate that, Cheaty. No, I don't.
And how quickly we're no longer looking for guests
Yes.
on the show.
It's okay. Thank you, guys.
Oh, man. Well, no, that being said, thank you for having us. I guess I should start with Layne Riggs. Welcome to Rolling with the Punches.
Yeah, glad to be on here. It's really cool.
Yeah, thanks you for having us. We do as we do, and we just kind of made ourselves at home in the middle of a race shop. So today it is Front Row.
Yeah, that's good. Today is not too loud. All the work's pretty much done. The truck behind us is actually about to roll in the trailer to go to IRP here in just a little while. So really excited about it. That truck actually is where I won at Bristol with last year. So
nice.
It was brand new for that race, and yeah, really excited about it. That thing's a bullet. So
Is
it's gonna be a
that
good one.
this countdown on the wall then? 1 day, 2 hours, 44 minutes, and now 4 seconds?
4 seconds. That's when the hauler pulls out. So it
Got
better
it.
be on the hauler before the ings. If not, it's going to get left here at the shop. So that
Got
is
it.
the last minute countdown.
It
And
reminds me of in cooking shows when
Yeah.
they're like, if you don't have your cake piped and done by then, put it down.
Yeah.
That's how it feels now.
They're
It's
always
hollers
3,
out, put it
2,
down.
1
Yep,
at the very end.
exactly. If it's not on the hauler, you're eliminated.
Yeah, this is one of the first here at Front Row Motorsports, just having it done within a day. Usually we are down to that last 30 minutes trying to finish everything up. So these 3 weeks off have really helped everybody get ahead.
No judgment. I mean, y'all are building race cars in a week and you're down to the last 30 minutes. I can't get out the door and I'm down to the last 30 minutes, and I didn't build a race car in that time. So that's fair.
For sure.
I'll give you a little bit of grace.
Exactly. And that's on that's on them. Sometimes I'll come in and help them a little bit, but hey, I'd rather be the last one to get there, but everything be perfect. I don't want to rush and not be right. So
Exactly.
There's always that trade-off there, but if they're late, that's fine with me as long as it's perfect.
It's like the first kid to finish the test. There was always that
Yeah.
kid that thought he was super cool because he turned his test in first,
and you start freaking out because
Right.
you're like,
You're like,
man,
oh, shit, am I
how's he done
behind?
already? And then it turns out he
Yeah.
got the worst grade. And it's like, yeah,
I'd rather turn it in last and
Yep.
have triple checked it.
that's right.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's what happened behind us. That's the plan.
It's been triple checked.
I want it to be the last guy to turn it in.
Well, I mean, like you said, it has a good resume
For
given the
sure.
win at Bristol last year. So.
For sure. Yeah, that was it's a really good truck, our short track truck we got. And we've just had some really good equipment lately. And, I think that's just a testament to everybody that works here. We're doing all our own chassis, bodies, fab work. everything's in-house now. You know, it was kind of subbed out to different teams and doing things in different shops, but now it's all here, all in one, and it goes from square and round tubing all the way to what you see behind us, all here in the same building. So that's just really cool to be able to put our own creativity on stuff, and I think that's really where our performance is coming from right now.
There's a lot of people here too, and now I know, like you said, we're 1 day, 2 hours, 41 minutes, and now 48 seconds away from
stressful, right?
Rolling out the haulers. Yeah, no pressure. But seeing the whole team here, you're here. I mean, how much time do you spend here? How do you describe kind of the dynamic of this truck program?
Yeah, it kind of just depends. You know, like recently we've had our long break, so I went to the beach, got some tan, came back yesterday for the first time. But you know, usually we go do sim every Monday morning, me and Chandler. So usually our Monday mornings pretty much is enthralled by sim. I usually come here, spend time with the guys. I try to help whenever I can. They usually got it and don't want me to help a lot of times, but you know, I try to be as hands-on as I can. I like knowing what I got, and I feel like just that little bit of knowledge of knowing it. I mean, I do have a mechanical engineering degree, so like using that in the field. And like I said, I just like being hands-on. I don't like to be the guy that just shows you the track and's like, okay, I'm just going to drive this thing. Like I want to be the one that's part of building it, part of making it what it is, and you know, feel like I have a little bit of, you know, of a hand in my own destiny.
That is exactly the reason that I ask, is because I'm kind of trying to feel out, you know, what kind of a, not only driver you are, but person you are when it comes to, you know, working and being a team player. And for two of those reasons. One, your background and your education, which is incredibly impressive. Let's talk about that first before we even get into racing. But also then, because of your history in racing and coming up through short track racing, regional racing, Cars Tour, there is so much more of a, or typically a hands-on approach in understanding what it takes to rebuild the race cars and what it takes, you know, to do during the week and not just show up on the weekends. But before we get too much racing, casually have a mechanical engineering degree. And I say this not to slight any of my friends in racing or in the series, but this is a sport where there are a lot of guys who didn't even go to high school. They did a different form of schooling. And you finished all of school through UNC Charlotte with not only just a degree, but one in mechanical engineering. Holy cow. Plus, while racing.
Yep.
You're like, yeah, I know, I did it. Like, thank you for telling me I actually lived it. I guess my question is, how?
Yeah, honestly, I don't know how I finished school because it was really tough, especially in college. But I mean, everybody asks that, and I always think about, well, you know, how'd you go to college and race? I'm like, well, I always went to school and raced. I was in middle school, and you're like, I was middle school, and I was in high school. Now that's just high school, but like when you were that age, middle and high school felt just as hard as college did. So I've never known racing and not going to school. So,
and were you always a high achiever in school? Like, I mean, clearly, if you're going to go get a mechanical engineering degree, you were always getting good grades. You never really struggled with the balance.
No, I'm a perfectionist. Like, if I'm gonna, like, especially like essays or papers or project, if I'm gonna turn it in, it's gonna be to the best of my ability. And thankfully, I hope that's good enough. But I did have a rule with mom and dad. This is back when I was younger. It's like when I first started racing, it said A's and B's. If you bring home a C, we're done. And that was like,
you made that rule, or your parents
they made that rule.
Okay.
But I was gonna withhold that anyways. So it was like,
Of
okay,
course.
like that's not really a big deal. But I do, talking about that, I do remember this one time, this one class, it was like a 79, like it was right on the cusp of it. And they were like, we're going to let this one slide. And I was like, later on, they're like, yeah, we weren't going to stop you, but we just wanted to scare you a little bit. But
of course,
just the college thing was tough. And, you know, especially working in the Cars Tour and late model racing, you know, I didn't really have a choice. It was me and Dad working on the cars and our volunteer crew. Riggs Racing is what it was, and that was the garage in our backyard. And you know, every car that we took to the racetrack, I knew every single bolt on it. And like I said, I didn't really have a choice to know because I was the one that had to put it together alongside with Dad. So it was go to school, come home, work on the race car, go to school, and then on the weekends you'd race, and you might have to fix some stuff during the week that you tore up. But you know, it was even a learning experience for Dad, just being out of like the late model scene for so long, because he kind of had to do the same route with his dad. So he'd had to like relearn all the new stuff and get caught back up. I'm trying to learn for the first time, and just over all those years, all those hours in the hot, non-air conditioned garage, I think made me a lot tougher. But yeah, back to the schooling thing. You know, I knew, I think I was 8th grade. I'm like, I want to do engineering. Like that's what my passion is.
How is an 8th grader? Because you're what? I mean, I don't even know how old you are in 8th grade.
I guess
anymore.
you're like what? 15?
15?
Yeah, 15.
I don't know. A scary
14,
age.
15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you know engineering?
I mean, Legos and growing
race
up,
cars,
just
I
like
guess.
race cars and
Yeah.
liking mechanical stuff. And they're like, you see like infographics of like what mechanical engineering is. I'm like, yes. I'm like, that's perfect.
checks
That's
out.
me right there. Like, that's what I want to do. And really, to be honest, engineering was my backup plan. You know, there was a really slim chance I was going to race at a professional level. And I kind of came to the realization of that. And even in college, I was working to become an engineer to just hopefully become a crew chief one day, knowing that I probably wasn't going to get an opportunity to race. And so that was really just my backup plan. And I knew even if plan A did work out, it's still going to be really helpful for me, and it is. But, you know, I got to the point, I think it was the end of my sophomore year in college, and I haven't told a lot of people this, but I said, this is when I was like racing the Cars Tour, we were doing our national championship. It's like we did all the achievements possible to move up, and it just wasn't happening. Like no matter how hard I tried, no matter how many phone calls I made, it just wasn't happening. And I said, if I graduate college and I get my degree and I don't have a national series ride by then, I'm going to hang the helmet up, because there's nothing that I can't live off of racing. You know, I can get an engineering job, and then once I turn 30, I have enough money to race on the side as a hobby, but that's not what my passion is. I want to do it. That's what I want my everything to be racing. So, you know, I kind of told myself, I didn't even tell my parents. I was like, but in my head, I set that goal. I said, if I don't have a national series ride by then, I'm going to hang the helmet up. So to go from that mindset, and then I think it was 6 months later, getting the call to come drive these trucks and like finally putting it all together, man, it's just like a flip the switch 180 of my whole mindset in life, and just felt so gratifying ever since then.
That's incredibly admirable and impressive. The ability to have that kind of discipline with yourself to say, I love racing, but I love myself and my future and my health and my family, and I've worked really hard at this degree. I've worked really hard at racing too. But for you to just kind of have that discipline is something that not a lot of people can have, especially at that age. So that's incredibly admirable. And I really appreciate you sharing that, because again, I'm trying to learn you as a person. And I do think that tells me a lot about you. But it's also just unbelievable that mechanical engineering as a backup plan is the funniest. That is the funniest phrase. My backup plan was international pop star. So
Exactly.
Still hoping that one might
that should
pan
have been
out.
plan A, and plan B should have been the other thing. Look, plan A has to be the crazy thing that nobody
Okay.
thinks is possible. And that's what I thought. Everybody's like, not everybody. I mean, I had a lot of people that believed in me and knew that I could do it. And I knew I could do it. But it's like, this, you see, I mean, there's 120 drivers, 40 each series that run nationally, and there's how many thousands of people that run at a short track level that are really talented drivers. I mean, I raced against a lot of people that I think had the ability to do it and just never had the opportunity, and I saw them not succeed and get what they feel like they deserved. And it's like, that's the realization that could be me, and just piecing that all together. But yeah, like what you said.
To your point, this is a sport built on hard work, but also opportunity. Yep. It is all about and I can relate. It's a lot of how the television industry is too.
Mm-hmm.
I see a ton of people who are incredibly talented and knowledgeable, but there's only how many spots on pit road with a microphone.
Exactly.
It's the exact same thing. I can relate in that. But I guess that's why I can understand the bravery that it takes to have to give up or potentially give up a passion like that, especially the reason what I'm getting to here is you are a legacy in the sport, so there's a lot that comes with having a dad that drove at the highest level of NASCAR stock car racing, but you also have this understanding that it might not work out for me, and I think a lot of people need to hear that, because there's this wild assumption that not you, but people that are legacies in the sport. Even me, my dad was a broadcaster. People think that they just handed me this microphone and said,
exactly.
yeah, here you go. Here's a job. That's not how it happens. So going back, for you to grow up in the capacity that you did and have the opportunities and the means and everything that you had, it's important, I think, that you share that element of that uncertainty in your future. So that being said, when did you kind of flip that switch and know that this was something I was going to do full time? Because you mentioned you have this national title in the Advanced Auto Parts Weekly series, and you still didn't know that was going to work for you?
Yeah, so kind of like 2020, we had some good runs. 2021 in the Cars Tour, we had some good runs. And then 2022 happened, and I was like, let's just go run some weekly races. So we went to South Boston Speedway, and I won, I think, the first 6 races in a row there. And it was like we were leading the national points by like a lot, and we're like, well,
Oof.
we got to go for
Yeah.
it now. You know, we had no desire to win a national title. And then we got really deep into it, and that was like racing 3 times a weekend, really pulled together junk that we had trying to get to the racetrack to win.
Especially if you started the year under the assumption that you weren't even going to run full time.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
wow.
we ended up having I think we had to buy an extra car just to be able to race 2 different tracks, 3 different tracks at the same time. And yeah, and then it's like we won the national championship, and that was the biggest accomplishment of my life. Still one of the biggest. I mean, that was some really, really hard times that we went through to do that, especially, and I was in the heat of battle in school too. So like during the summer it was easy, but then I went back to college like late in the year, and Dad was left at home alone, and he tells a lot of horror stories. Like he'd wake up in the middle of the night freaking out, like wanting it so bad for me, and just feel like he can't help me enough.
And I'm sure that pressure of feeling like he doesn't have that safety net of you, and that he has a lot more on him
Exactly. He
to
put
make sure
a lot
it's correct
on him.
and perfect.
He put
Yeah.
a lot on him to, like, it took years off his life. He turned
bless.
a lighter shade of gray after that year, and he can attest that and tell you that it was some of
It's
the most
like
stressful times of our life.
Those photos of the president that you see when they go
Yes.
into office and then they come out,
That's
that is
literally
your
what it
dad.
was like
Yeah,
in
yeah.
a year racing.
We could look at Victory Lane photos
Yes,
of you at the start of the season.
I
and
think
then
we could.
The championship.
So then, like, we won it, and it's like, this is great. And then, I got a couple part-time truck rides here and there, and had good runs, and had people talk about it well. And it's just like nothing really ever came about. Like, yeah, he's good. And then it's like you don't really hear anything about it. And it's like, but where's your sponsorship? Where's the
That's the key word, right?
Where's the X? Like I got so many calls like, we want you to drive for us so bad. And I'm like, here's my break. And they're like, so how much you got with you? It's like, and it just didn't work.
Yeah, you're like, you don't want me that bad then.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like, but it's understandable from the other side. I mean, it's a business. You have to do what you can. If the team doesn't have the sponsorship with them, they have to get it somewhere else, and that's usually through the driver. And that's just how the sport works right now when it's so expensive. So then just going around and around, I ran, a couple Xfinity races for Colleague even. That was like a last minute, they had open races in their all-star car, quote unquote.
Right. Is it the 10
And
car?
I think, it was the 10,
Yeah.
the 11.
Okay.
They were
Back
like,
before it was
yeah.
kind of that, that full time.
Yeah, it was like me,
deal.
Hemrick, and
Yeah.
I think Chandler was actually one of the teammates too. So that was like a very last minute deal, and I actually had some really good runs. Some of my first mile and a half races were with them, and then we went to Martinsville, which is kind of why I wanted to do the whole deal, was to have the Xfinity race at Martinsville. It's kind of like a package deal. And Jerry Freese, the chairman of Front Row, was there, and he was talking to Dad outside the hauler, and I came out there and I was like, hey, nice to meet you. I didn't really know who he was, and got to chit chat, and he said, well, you want to drive my truck? And I was like,
Hell yeah.
of course I do. He's like, well, we'll see how you do today. And I was like,
Oh.
oh no.
Oh gosh.
Well, I ended up getting spun 3 times in the race, and I think like the last 10 laps I was running I think 5th somehow, and I think I got spun late in the race or whatever, and I was like, oh, he's not gonna call me. Well, then that Monday he called me. He's like, well, I think you got what it takes, and logistically still had to make it work, but I had some really good people. Want to give a big shout out to Jeff Coffey, Infinity Communications. He's actually from Bahama, where I'm from, and owns Infinity Communications. And pretty much I went to him and was like, I need this. Like, this is my break. This is a life-changing moment right here and an opportunity. Will you help me? And I'm just super thankful that he came on board and gave me that opportunity, along with Loves, that was already with Front Row, putting their faith in me and wanted to keep that journey going with the 38 truck last year. Just that all culminated together into a full-time season. And it's like, man, dream come true. Like, it all happened. And I just knew that the team was good enough, and that frankly, I could do it. I knew I was good enough to do it and take it to victory lane to make it happen. It's like, if I can just get there, I know that it's going to work out if I just get there. And then I got slapped in the face early in the season. It's like super speedway, 1.5 mile, road course.
Welcome
it's
to
like,
the truck series,
it's like,
baby.
oh my gosh, this is so hard. And then, we still had some good speed, but then, we're like halfway through the year last year. And I'm like, man, what are we doing wrong here? Like, we can't get a finish we deserve. And then all of a sudden we just started clicking them off. 5th, 3rd, 5th, win, 3rd, 5th. It's like,
What changed?
nothing. Like, we just kept doing our own thing. And I think it's just time. Like,
Learning.
Just me, my crew chief, Dylan, just everybody finally getting that understanding of what I needed to go fast, getting a feel for the radial tires, getting a feel for the track, just getting a feel for the aero. It just takes time. We don't have any practice pretty much. You have a shakedown to go feel it out, and then you got one lap to qualify, and you got to learn during the race. Well, I only got 10 races to learn, and they're on all different tracks. It's like, really, I was just getting my feet wet. And then once I finally got settled in a little bit, we just started rolling with the punches, right?
Beautiful. Love it. I didn't even have to pay him for
I know.
that.
I heard that. I was like, I got to say
incredible.
it.
It's marketing, right?
We did. It's marketing. And we just got rolling, and I feel like we've just been on that same roll ever since.
Because you rolled your way into Milwaukee.
And we were like 18th in practice. We qualified like 14th, and we were like, ugh, another one of these days. And then we took the green, and all of a sudden I was like, stage 1, we were in 10th. Stage 2, we were in 4th. And then my pit crew got me out, I think 3rd or 2nd, and then I took the lead in the final stage. And it's like, we're leading this thing? And then all of a sudden we won. I was like, I did not expect that. I mean, in the stage 2, I was like, top 5 day would be nice. Like, literally within 30 minutes, it changed from top 5 day to we're winning this race. And it was, so to be honest and long story short, it was very unexpected to win that race. And then just that momentum of winning, it's like, so that's what it feels like. That's what the truck needs to feel like to win. That's what my balance needs to feel like. That's how I need to save the tires. Like, I got it now.
It all clicked.
I
it
got
all
it. Like,
set into
once
place.
you win once, you're like, that's the feel I'm looking for. And I've had that feel in late model, but the feel in the truck's so much different of the feel you're looking for. So we went to Bristol the next weekend with this truck. And
Not to
won
cut you
again.
off.
Yeah.
Because I have to.
You have to talk about it.
I have to go back because getting your first win, to your point, from a competitive standpoint, it does so much to understanding, and they always say the first one's the hardest, and they roll from there. But from a mental standpoint, an emotional standpoint, an accomplishment standpoint, let's talk about that. I mean, that is huge, and I want to know what you remember most, because what I remember most from a fan is you dislocating your
Throwing
shoulder.
my shoulder out.
Yeah. And that to me is passion. That is like, that is
Yeah.
everything I just said summed up into one. Like you celebrated so hard, you injured yourself.
I injured myself. And that was a call on Monday from NASCAR Medical. Like, we got to get you fixed up after this.
And you're going to Bristol of all
yeah, we're going to
places.
Bristol the next
Yeah.
weekend, too.
Yeah.
But so something about that, Dad actually wasn't going to go to that race. That was like one of the first one he was going to miss that year. He's like, yeah, it's far away, and kind of got some stuff to do around the house. And then like last minute, he's like, I'm going to Milwaukee, and I'm just really glad he was there. Yeah, it was weird. It was a Sunday race. That was like very odd for the Truck Series to be on Sundays. I think the Cup and Xfinity Series were somewhere else, and we raced on Sunday at Milwaukee. So I was joking around. I'm like, man, I won on Sundays.
I love it. Yeah, racing on Sundays,
yeah, exactly.
winning on Sundays.
I won on Sunday, and I was joking about that. But yeah, definitely the shoulder dislocation thing was funny. And
Has that happened before?
so,
is that an injury you've
yeah,
had?
so
Okay.
that was something. It was actually an old lingering motocross wreck.
Okay.
So actually, I broke my collarbone before in a motocross wreck,
Brutal.
and I dislocated my shoulder in the process. And within the span of 4 years, I think I dislocated it 10 times total. Like stupid stuff, like throw your arm up to grab something, it comes out, or like pulling on a wrench. Or
So are you the kind of person that can just pop it back in yourself, or do you need like a
it was
second
it was
person?
tough.
Yeah.
It was tough.
Okay.
And Dad has actually had that same problem, even with his right shoulder too,
Really?
from motocross. I don't do that anymore. I don't ride dirt bikes anymore. I don't think it'd be too smart right now, especially in the middle of the season.
My God, you can't celebrate without
I
throwing
know,
your shoulder
exactly.
out. I don't think you should get on a dirt bike.
It was like, it was really torn. Like, I think they said that my labrum was, so it's like the round muscle.
My dad's a doctor, so.
Yeah, okay, I'm screwed then, because I
No,
don't
my point was that's a joke. I have no idea what you're talking about. Yeah, I
and,
just pretend like I do.
They said the round muscle, they said it was like over 70% torn. They're like, so if you have a circle, over 70% of it's gone. And the doctor's like,
no.
I can literally like take it out right here if I wanted to. He's like, it's literally
It's
about
just
to-
hanging on
It's
by a
it's hanging
thread,
on. Like
yeah.
I can't believe it doesn't happen more often.
Oof.
I'm like, he's like, we can't do anything right this second. We have to just go through the season and do what we have to do. So yeah, like I was just super careful. Like pretty much if it's like at my side and driving was fine. It's just like up and out and like throwing my hand up in
Yep.
celebration. It was like bad angle.
And you weren't thinking about. I mean,
No,
let's be
I could
real.
care less
yeah.
at the moment. I was like, I just won. I was jumping on the roof, and I actually tore the roof all to pieces. I kind of made the shop guys mad because I literally jumped on the roof and caved it in. But that was like literally everything I've ever wanted for the past 10 years just came true. It's like, uh-oh, that's not good. And I came to realization, like, oh, they're at that moment.
And they're coming at you with the microphone.
Yeah, they're coming in the
and,
microphone.
yeah.
How do you feel? I'm like, not good right this second. But no, that was very memorable. And like I said, a lot of people
Who
didn't
popped
even
it
know.
back in? Sorry, I'm so intrigued by
Yeah,
this.
my pit crew actually. So they all come out there, and I'm like, I was on top of the truck when it happened, like standing on the roof.
Right.
And I'm like holding it. I'm like, I knew what happened. I'm like, this isn't good. I'm on top of a truck, on TV in front of a crowd, and then my pit crew comes over, and they're like, yeah, and I'm like, hold on. I'm like, get me down. They're like, what? And I'm like, just pull my arm up. And they're like, uh-oh. And they knew I had that problem.
Okay,
they're like-
so they knew what was going
They got
on.
it back in, and right when they went back in, I was like, I feel good. Yeah, I was like, let's go. And I was
That's
like,
awesome.
adrenaline's a beautiful thing because it didn't hurt at all after I put it back in. So it's like, we're gonna party it up, and everybody's asking me questions like, what happened out there? I was like, oh, it's no big deal.
I don't even know.
It
Yeah.
happens all the time. Yeah, and then Monday, NASCAR called me. They're like, you're getting hurt on national television, and it's not even because you're driving. It's like, we can't do this. Is bad for our ratings. It's like,
That's the most NASCAR thing
Yeah.
ever. They're like, and congratulations on the win.
yeah, and
Click.
congrats on the win, but we have to get you fixed up. So over the off season, I did like the full reconstructive surgery pretty much.
Wow.
Ortho Carolina, through NASCAR, through all them. They gave me like prime A+ treatment to get me like the best possible. It's like literally, I think it was Monday after Phoenix, I was in there on the operating table getting sliced on to try to fix it. And it was, those couple weeks after that were rough. Like, thank goodness I did it over the off season. And just slowly getting the motion back. And I'm really not fully there. Like, I don't think it'll ever be the same. But driving in this position, it's not a problem at all. It's just like doing other odd things. But
Have you? And we've practiced. I mean, obviously you've won since,
yes,
since
I
then.
do it.
So everything looked good
I
at,
do
at
it gentle.
Pocono.
I do it gentle now.
Okay,
I think
okay.
every time I get out and I win, it'll be forever of my life. I'll think about when I win. Hopefully,
course.
hopefully I win more than once now. But it's
How can you not?
Yeah, I got up and I was like, every time like nice and easy. Like
a little slow and steady.
yeah,
Yeah.
the first time was like literally throwing a baseball.
You need like to come up with your own celebration that's like rotator cuff friendly
Yeah,
that you could just
exactly.
do. Like, yeah.
Exactly. Everybody has like these marquee like
Yeah.
celebration things, but I don't know. I don't really see me having one. I think just a generic celebration, like whatever comes from my heart and the way I feel in that moment after winning, that's how I want to act. And I don't want to be overly calm or overly joyous. Just if I get out and I feel like doing something, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I don't want to have those routines of like all these guys have their different things they're doing. I don't want one of those.
That tradition. It makes me think of AJ Allmendinger. Like, you love watching him win. He doesn't have a celebration,
Yeah,
but he
he's
just
just
he gets
crazy.
so excited. Yeah, and he
Yeah.
runs around. And I don't care who it is. He'll hug the first person that he sees,
Yeah,
and like
for sure.
he just it's
I feel
the
like
genuine
I'm like
emotion.
3/4 of there. Actually, at Pocono when I won a few weeks ago, I actually got out. And like all my crew were standing there, and Todd Bodine was standing there with the microphone, and I went up and I hugged Todd.
Hugs Todd?
And
Todd's a huggable guy.
And,
I mean,
he
come
was
on.
like, he's like, yeah, good job. And he's like, had his microphone. Well, the next week he said,
At least it wasn't like Jamie or
yeah,
like
he
somebody.
was like, I kind of got in trouble with my crew. They said I probably shouldn't be hugging the winner, and I was like, he's like, well, he hugged me first.
That is so funny.
Yeah, he's like, maybe don't do that again. I was like,
So-
I was just feeling, I was in a loving mood.
That's so funny you say that because I did I did an interview once and I was being interviewed, which is rare because usually I'm the one obviously
Yeah.
doing the interview. And it was a long story short, it was for a total different racing series. So I'm completely out of my element. I don't know anyone. It was a media guy from local media, and God bless him. It was an interview, right?
Yeah.
It was very like
For
whatever.
sure.
Yeah, local media, local news. We get to the end, and I think he kind of maybe just mentally panicked a little bit, and maybe just didn't think about how he was going to end it. So he like thanks, and then he kind of like high fives me, and then he just hugs me. This stranger man, local newsman, just like gives me a hug, and I was like,
Hi.
okay. And I was just trying to still be me on camera, so I was like, thanks, having
Yeah.
fun, you know. And I walked away, and I was like, I wonder if he feels as awkward as I do.
You could, yeah. Dude, sometimes everybody has those moments.
You
So
have
it's
those moments,
You get to the
yeah.
end of the interview and you like don't finish on the down, and it's like you say something, and then like you kind of
And then,
end. You're like, I don't really know what to say.
And you're like, I
it's-
can't go back
Yeah,
now.
and they're like still holding the mic, like waiting for you to say something else. That happens to me all the time. I'm like,
it's
I'm
all right.
like, this is awkward.
At least he was taught. He's been there. Like,
Yeah.
he knows the
Yeah,
emotion
and-
that goes into
And
everything.
he's helped me out a
fine.
lot. Like,
yeah.
you know, we've had some deals even this year and last year. Like, he's kind of been that guy. Like at the racetrack, he'll come like get some thoughts from me, just have his notes, and then like he'll give me some advice. And I'll ask him for stuff like, what can I do better this week? And like he's kind of been along with me in that thing. Like I really like him and how he's been there, and I think he really sees a lot of me and wants to see me do well. So it's yeah, it's really cool to get advice from somebody like that. It's so odd. Like you see him like in the pit reporting aspect, and like not really being cognizant of like seeing him race back in the day. It's like, oh, he's like, yeah, Todd, the pit reporter. Like I don't even like
You
see
don't
him as
put
the
him as
race car
Todd driver,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Like whatever state somebody's in, like you just look at them in that state. Like you don't. It, like I said, old athletes that are now in the booth and like stuff like that. Like you don't really see them as the athletes anymore. It's like, oh, they're the booth guy, or they're.
It'd be
the,
more weird to
yeah.
see Clint like in his fire suit
Exactly.
now than to see him in,
For sure,
in the
Michael
booth.
Waltrip,
Yeah,
like seeing him in a fire
what?
suit racing, you're like, that's so weird. Like, what's he doing that for? Like,
Right.
I feel it's so odd, especially people from the past that were racing and now don't do it. It's so weird that you like got to piece all that together. Like, okay, that's the same person. They went through the same things I've done before. So
Mm-hmm.
that was one of those moments.
So I cut you off before you started talking about Bristol, and this is the same truck you took to Bristol. You get the win at Milwaukee, and then you follow it up with a win at Bristol with a shoulder that's, you know, a bum shoulder.
Yeah.
That, I imagine, from a team standpoint, from a mental standpoint, confidence standpoint, was like, oh no, we really got this. Like the
Yes.
first win, like you said, the pieces came together, and then you follow it up with a win at Bristol. I'm sure that had to have been the nail in the coffin, I guess, as they say, from a we can do this.
Yeah, for sure. I think everybody's first win, you're like, was that a fluke? Did he just have a really good truck that day? Or like, what was that? And then to go to the next weekend and just do it again and be like, oh crap, this guy's for real. I've only won 3 races so far, and I say only like it's nothing. Like 3 wins. is
3
still,
races in your second full-time season.
Exactly. So like, but that was like the most dominant days. Like I feel like Pocono was kind of the same way. Like some things happened. Like we were fast and we just executed. Pocono, we were fast, we executed. But Bristol was like, we just know everybody else had good days and we just had a better day. And that's like, oh no, this guy is for real. And it's inside the playoffs. We weren't in the playoffs, you know, at the time. One race earlier win we would have been. And to not be in the playoffs, we're just gonna go out here and just wear them out every race. That's our plan. We just want to go beat all those guys and just like show them why we should have been in the playoffs. And just to go to Bristol, like I think we qualified bad. We qualified like 18th to 20th. Like we had I got super loose in my qualifying lap, and literally I was like, I'm not even worried about it. Like every time I usually qualify bad, I'm like, oh, it's gonna be a tough day. But, like we were 20th, and I knew it was so good in practice. I'm like, I'm just gonna drive to the front. Like it's no big deal. And I did. I just bang, bang, bang all the way to the front. Cleanly took the lead. Like it wasn't no pit stop fluke. Like it was, I passed every single person to get to the front and just checked out. And it's like that was the most dominant race vehicle I've ever driven, and just felt like it was effortless to do it. Those are the days that you strive for, and to have equipment that good and then back it up and make it all happen. It's like that was even more satisfying than the first one. Like
Oh, I'm sure. You go from the week before, as you described, being in the lead and having this, oh shit, we're going to win this moment, to taking the green and going, I have the truck to win this.
Yeah.
Like that is a total different approach.
It's like everything's happened so fast. It's like,
That's amazing.
It's like a hurry up and wait thing. It's like you got to wait for weeks and months and years, and all of a sudden it's like bang bang, you're gonna win. You're gonna win. You know, not really sure, and then you're gonna win confidently, like no problem. And like I said, ever since then, we just kind of been on that same grind and just feeling like every week we show up, it's like I know what it takes to win. We know what it's gonna feel like, and you know, I haven't gone to a track yet this year and felt, you know, good day would be good. I'm like, we got a good shot to win every single weekend. That's just having good equipment, being confident in myself, being confident in the team, and knowing that, you know, every time I show up to the racetrack, I know myself having a shot to win, and I think everybody else in the pits circles us as one of the guys they got to beat.
You reached that point where it all came together. You understood what it takes, and now that perfectionism can set in of, I know the checklist that has to happen. I know how it has to feel. And of course, there are variables that are out of your control, but I'm sure that had to have been kind of a satisfying feeling of like, I'm a little more in control now. I know what it takes, and I can roll up to the race with that confidence in mind, knowing I've done everything I need to do. But all of that to say, laying out these pieces, that's the truck you won with at Bristol and kicked ass with. Kicked ass with. Now we're getting ready to go to IRP, where you know you're great. You made your first truck series start there. In top 10. I mean, that was huge to come out and debut at all places and get a top 10. So I have to believe you're feeling pretty good going into this weekend.
Yeah, I feel good. We are on a roll right now. I feel like we're just like peaking at the right time. Like, we've had our rocky parts of the first part of the year with just issues on pit road and just issues here and there that I feel like could have been avoided, or just bad scenarios. And now it's like that same, like we peaked last year a little late, right after the playoffs started. But like this year, it's like we're peaking right when it counts. And I feel like right now we're stronger than we've ever been before. And IRP, a track, the truck series went back there after so many years, and I've run every race there since they've come back. I ran in 22, 3, 4, and this year. So I have just as many laps as any of the other guys on the track there. And yeah, that's one of my favorite racetracks. It was actually Dad's debut truck track too, back in 1999, I think.
That's awesome.
And that was the first track he ever ran at. So
Did you finish better than he did?
I did. I think he finished 13th.
There it is.
So, I got to get that little.
Not that it's, not a competition.
Who
it's always
cares?
a
But,
competition.
still.
Yeah, of course.
You can still brag about it a little bit. But it's just really cool, full circle moment to, especially father-son, doing the same kind of things, taking the same paths. And, going back to him, he's just super, like, content now. Like, through the national championship, being stressed, like, everything he's doing is just for me, and I couldn't be more thankful for that. Like, from the time he wakes up to the time he goes to sleep was to try to get me to where I want to be. And it's like, after I got this opportunity, he's like, bang, like, he's gone. Like, he did what he's supposed to do. Now, I wouldn't call him an empty nester, because he comes to all the races, he does everything, but it's like he just feels like accomplished and like satisfied with everything of how it turned out. So that's just super glad to see him in that state of mind.
And he should.
I'm happy for him too.
Of course, you guys worked hard. I mean, it's a team thing. Like Riggs Racing, like you did it together, and it was because of your teamwork that got you to this point. And you bring up your dad. I kind of waited until now to go all the way back because, again, in relating as somebody who has a dad in the sport, sometimes it's hard to tell your own story when everybody wants to hear your story in relation to growing up as the son or daughter of your parents. So, but now that we're here, I mean, well, actually, can you pronounce, you said it once, the name
So it's spelled
Bahama?
It's spelled Bahama, but you got to put the little redneck twang on it.
Oh, I love it.
It's Bahama.
Bahama. Oh, that feels way more comfortable anyways.
Yes.
Yeah, Bahama.
That's why we say it's easier to say. Actually, funny story about that town that I grew up in, Bahama. I don't even know if it's big enough to be considered a town, but it's where I'm from. It's the three families that lived there back in like the 1800s, the Balls, the Halls, and the Manghams. And they're like, let's name the town after the first two letters in each of our names.
Stop.
So pronouncing those three names, it was pronounced Bahama, the Balls, Halls, and Manghams, not Bahama, because it wasn't balls. Like, I don't know, it was like, so.
Bahama.
Yeah. That's
Makes
actually something I
sense
didn't
to
find
me.
out till a couple of years ago. Somebody told me that. I was like, that's really cool. I didn't even know that about my own town.
That's super cool. Yeah.
So, yeah, coming from Bahama, Dad grew up there, grandparents, great-grandparents. Like, I grew up on my great-great-grandparents' land. So, like, all of us live right in that area. And, I mean, most of Bahama is now Riggs's. So.
Okay, so it'll be, we had the Riggs and there's Bahama Rig or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. You didn't found the town, but it'll be there soon. Well, you mentioned, we were talking a little bit before we sat down, which is always my kryptonite because I want to talk to you, and then it's hard to sit in the chair and be like, can you tell me that story again?
Yeah.
But you, growing up with a dad who raced in the Cup Series, surprisingly didn't start getting serious about racing until you were older, which really surprised me. But then come to find out you had a dirt track in your backyard. You were kind of getting your feet wet the more non-traditional way.
Exactly.
Growing up, tell me a little more. Well, you already told me, but tell them a little more about what that was like.
Yeah, for sure. I grew up, I mean, I started, like, driving. I was 3 and like drove the yard cart around the house. And Dad tells it a lot. He's like, I went out there and just like drove around. Most kids don't even understand left and right. And he said, I was going out there and like at 3 years old and like made a track and like was actually sliding around the corners. And like, he's like, you'd get like loose and you'd correct it. He's like, you can't teach that stuff.
You just understand that. You feel that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's like, you can feel that. Like, not a lot of other people have that. And at the time, I was like, I don't care about that. Who cares about that? So, ended up, I think it was like Christmas, I got me like a junior go-kart and Orange County Kartway. Went up there, I was 4, ran like some kid kart races. And I don't even remember. It was so young. Like, this is all like what people have told me because I don't even remember doing it. I was so little. And I went out there and like won, like I lapped second place every time I raced. Like, it was, I got off the track and I said, Dad, this is boring. Like, can we just go back to the house and like ride on our dirt track? Like, I don't want to come out here. I said, I don't like having to wait between races. Like, you got to go to the track and you got to wait all day and race and there's no competition. Like, this isn't fun. So,
and as we established, your dad as a former driver, there was probably a part of him that was like, oh, but then his wallet was like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, he was like, thank God this kid doesn't want to race.
This is great.
And he never pushed me to race. Like, that was
Good.
like, I asked for it when I was little. I was like, let me ride my go-kart, whatever. He tells me now, he's like, I didn't want you to race. I wanted you to do something else. I wanted you to be a professional golfer. I wanted you to be anything, just not racing, because he knows how the hardships of it, the highs, the lows. There's a whole lot more lows than there is highs in this sport. He just knew how tough it was away from the family. And, we raced at the dirt track from 4 till I was 10 behind the house. And, he was in Cup at the time. And every Wednesday night we had pretty much Behemoth Speedway, you can call it, behind the house. And we'd have like 20, 25 guys bring their go-karts over, their flat carts, and we'd race behind the house. We had lights, water tank. We had the whole 9. Like,
That's
it was a racetrack. And it's still there. We can still, if I went and put a couple of days of work into it, we could ride on it. But
you should. That would be really fun.
I know. We do. Every couple of years, we'll kind of like relive the memories and like get them out. And, like, it's just so much work with the dirt track, especially like it's literally like grown up.
I'm sure. Yeah, it would take some time.
So just doing that and going out there and riding with friends and family, and we'd have little races, and I'd win like every single one of them. Now, like I said, sure, I had a little weight advantage. Well, they ended up actually putting lead on my cart. Like, they literally put like 100 pounds of lead on my cart. They're like these guys, I mean, they come out here, they put a lot of money in these go-karts. Like, these guys are trying to win. They're cheating their motors up. They're soaking tires. Like, we're doing all kind of stuff to try to win.
And then you're going out there and kicking their ass.
I would just go out there and just kill them. I mean, these guys were like middle-aged men, and they were like getting physically like mad. And they're like, y'all got to do something with him. Like, y'all got to put some weight on him. Like, they're getting mad.
It's Wednesday night in the backyard.
Yeah, I'm like 7, and I'm like,
they're yelling at you. Yeah.
Yeah, not at me, but they like go over to Dad.
Yeah,
like, you got to
yeah.
do something about that cart. Like, that's illegal.
Hilarious.
So like they did everything to try to slow me down, and it just didn't matter. And it's like they finally came to the realization, like, this kid's actually pretty good. And Dad's still like, well, we not really going to do anything. But what I tell is my mom and Dad told me this later on, but one of the guys that was riding go-karts, he went to my mom and said, if you don't put that boy in a race car, you should be ashamed of yourself because you're throwing away a lot of talent, and just like walked away. And then that night, my mom went to my dad and said, we got to get this guy a race car. Like, he deserves it. He's shown it. And Dad's like, no, like, we don't need to go racing. And she's like, we're doing it. It was really Mom's the one that pushed it and made it happen.
That is so rare. It is so rare that the mom, the mother, is like, we got to start racing. And especially your mom, who, as you just laid out, it is not an easy career to be a driver, much less to be the wife of somebody who is racing. So she knows the hardships of it all. So to be able to recognize your talent and go to your dad and say, all right, let's do this.
Yeah,
I'm sure he was like, wow, okay,
I'm super thankful for that in the end. Without that, it might have not happened. And it was also, I was asking, I was pushing, like, come on, please. And he was like, nope, we're not doing it. And then she was the one that finally pulled the trigger. So shout out to Mom.
You wouldn't be here without her.
Exactly.
Quite literally.
Yep. Literally, and what we're talking about,
Shout
too.
out Mama Riggs.
Yeah, that's right.
So what changed then? I mean, I know you said that you went from getting lapped and deciding this was boring. Was it just the idea of being able to compete that now you're like, oh, I want to do this? Well, what changed in racing that grabbed your attention?
I just think that it's kind of good and bad timing. Dad was starting to kind of get out of it. lost Valvoline and just kind of his career just wasn't really able to fulfill itself. He's doing starting park stuff. Just his heart wasn't in it anymore. So he was getting out of it. And it was the exact same time I was starting to get interested in it. So it's like, it's good he was there for almost, I think he's only missed like 5 of my races in my whole life. So to go from that, and being able to be at all the races, but then the bad part is he's not in the loop anymore. He doesn't have this guy when he goes to the cup race this weekend to talk to in the garage about getting he's just out of the loop.
Yeah.
Bahama's not too far from Charlotte to be in the loop. And I still fight that sometimes. But
also, in fairness to your dad, and also in effort to relate, it's a different world. It is a total different world. And even contacts aside, because my dad, same kind of deal. I got into it when he was already out of it, or definitely phasing out of broadcasting. So it is funny to have those same contacts where I'm sure you go to the track and they go, oh, I worked with your dad. And all these people that you're like, I don't know if I call them Mr. So-and-so or call them by their first name now because we're coworkers. But also, it's hard when you try to talk to your dad. And when I try to talk to my dad, it's just media is so different. The style of racing is so different. It's weird. It's like it is a tool and an asset, but also I spend as much time explaining the differences today as I do being able to rely on him for info.
I feel like you say, I feel like we can really relate in that aspect of like on the broadcasting side versus the racing side. Like we kind of dealt with the same thing, and we had to make our own destiny in the same kind of direction. So, but yeah, getting back, started at 10 years old, went to the racetrack the first time. So Dad's progression was mini stock, late model to the truck series. And that was my same progression. I bought a mini stock, what was called a pure stock car, but pretty much racing at Orange County Speedway, the big brother of the go-kart track that I ran at, and still is my home track to this day. I actually ran the late model race there this year.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, one of my favorite racetracks still. It's super, super fun. That's where he grew up at. It's like 5 minutes from our house. So yeah, I started racing there in the mini stock division and won my second ever race. And think about this. All these other kids, they grew up, they did the Bandolero, Legend Car, late model. And it was like age class, age class, age class. I was 10, and my arch nemesis was 65 in his car. And these are a bunch of guys, like, this is a hobby class. Like, this is a hobby stock class. And I'm out here, and I'm 10, and I'm, like, trying to make a career for myself. And these guys are middle-aged men. Same kind of deal with the go-kart track. Like, they're getting, like every time after the race, we'd win, and they'd be like, he's cheating. He's doing this. He's got the NASCAR stuff. They're cheating. And it was, like, always so funny because I always stayed out of it. Like, Dad was having to be the front man and do all the politicking for me because I didn't know what I was doing. I was just
what are you gonna go do? Argue with them? Like,
exactly.
Please.
I was just driving. Like, they were protesting our engine every single weekend. Like, it's so funny looking back.
Oh my god!
And
you're like, look, Daryl, I'm just talented. Okay.
Yeah. He's like, I spent my whole paycheck on this motor. So yeah, I did it the hard way. So I got thrown to the wolves. Like, I remember literally the guy I was talking about, like, we had a rivalry. Like, we were going back and forth and wrecking each other. Like, one weekend he'd spin me out and put me in the wall. And the next weekend I'd do it back to him. Like, I was doing that at 10.
I mean, you see that in short track racing and local regional racing, but it's comical to think about the age difference and the career path difference.
We're in the same size cars. One kid's 10 and one's 65, and we're banging doors. So, like, I feel like that matured me really quickly. Like, like I said, we didn't do any age groups. Like, I didn't go to the summer shootout and get wrecked by other 10-year-olds. Like, I was getting wrecked by those guys, but also matured by them. So, like, I started running late model at Orange County. It was an outlaw track. It was no age group needed. So, like, I raced limited and late model kind of at the same time. It's the same cars, just like different rules packages. But I was like doing double duty and then like racing against like veterans that were out there that had been doing it and racing against my dad. And racing against those guys at 12, 13 years old really taught me a lot because they were the respectful ones. They were the ones that have been there forever, racing since the 80s and 90s.
That you learn from racing against
Exactly.
them.
So I learned all my good traits from them and like how to race. And I enjoyed doing it that way better. I want to race against the veterans to learn, not the other rookies. Rookies racing against rookies don't learn that well. I think rookies racing against the veterans learn a lot faster. So
well,
I
and
was
to your
blessed with
point,
that.
that's why, most kids grow up racing each other. But then they get to the truck series and they have this opportunity to race against Kyle Busch and Ross Chastain. And you hear them say how much they're able to learn from racing against these guys. And oftentimes that's their first opportunity to race against that top talent. So what a blessing and an advantage for you to have that background, even though it's different than most.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, it's different, but it worked for Dad too. And we were like, if it worked for him, it'll work for me. And we kind of just did that literally exact same pathway.
Yeah.
And I liked it. It turned out better for me in the end. And then started racing the Cars Tour. You had to be 14 to race in the Cars Tour. And on my 14th birthday, I ran my first Cars Tour race and qualified outside pole, ran up front all day. And it was like, that was another big, like, man, this kid's got it. Like, this kid doesn't even know what he's doing.
Oh, I can't
And-
imagine how many people that pissed off.
Oh, yeah. Like, so
the day you turned 14.
I remember this. It was Deke McCaskill qualifying on the pole. My dad and Deke, like, Deke's like a legend in
Right.
late model racing. And it was me and him on the front row. I think Tommy Lemons qualified third and Josh Berry qualified fourth. And it was like Sam Mayer and like I think Ty Gibbs wasn't racing yet, but it's like all these guys. Like the biggest one was Josh. Now, you know,
Yeah.
it's like I out qualified him that race, and I didn't know what I was doing out there. And then he actually ended up putting me in the marbles that race. That was another like, oh, this veteran guy right here just put me in the dirt. I guess that's
Yeah.
what you do, huh?
You
so,
learn real quick.
I
Yeah,
had to
learn
learn
your
really quick.
place.
So
Yeah.
pretty much. But the Cars Tour taught me like, okay, now we're getting into the nitty gritty. You know, you have your every sport, every talent has that progression of like getting better. You know, at the start you're learning a lot really quick and you're getting really quick fast. Now we're kind of like tapering off. It's like you're just slowly piecing away at your craft. And I feel like I did that in the Cars Tour. Like I had pretty good speed off the bat, but like then I started to really perfect what I was doing. So yeah, pretty much racing the Cars Tour all the way up until 2023. I mean, full time for the most part. So
So it was Cars Tour then that you really kind of got serious about doing this as a sport? Because for somebody going back to you finishing school, I mean, you were juggling a lot. You said you played other sports? You did kind of do the traditional trying other things
I know,
out?
Yeah, we talked about, I forgot about that. So yeah, my dad didn't want me to race. Like I said, we were getting that like the 9, 10, 11, like I was racing pure stock. Like it was like, does he really want to race? Does he not? Let's try to do some other stuff. So like I have kids golf clubs. I have baseballs, basketballs, soccer balls. Like I have every sport equipment possible at the house.
The size of a middle schooler.
Yes, and they all look brand new because I never used them, and I could have cared less about them. And I tried it, and a story I'll tell is I went to, my mom sent me to basketball camp at middle school. I didn't really care about basketball, but I was like, well, I'll do the camp. And it was like a week-long camp. And I actually like took it seriously. I tried to get better. Like I was like, I'm gonna like do like all the drills these guys are saying.
Yeah.
Like the basketball coach for the middle school, high school team was like coaching the thing, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do good. So then the end of the week, it was like the Parents' Day, come in and like show off what the kids have learned.
Right.
And I didn't know this until late. All of a sudden, after the deal, my mom's like, yeah, you know, we can just move on to racing. That's fine. And turns out later on, she said, I came and watched you play basketball, and it was so bad that I felt embarrassed for you. Like it was like secondhand embarrassment from a mom's standpoint. And that was the point I was like, okay, this kid did it. He tried. He just doesn't have it. I'm still so bad. Like the coordination.
That's tough.
Yeah.
She's like waiting in the car
Yeah,
for you
she's
instead
like-
of in
she's
the
like,
bleachers.
"Oh,
She's like, I'm
no."
gonna meet you outside. You just, yeah.
She said secondhand embarrassment for me watching me play basketball.
And this is the same mom that put you in the race car.
Exactly.
She
That-
said, we're not doing basketball.
Yeah, and like all that
Yeah.
time period is like
She knows talent.
Like during like the let's get him a race car. Like that's probably one of the things that push her to be like, okay, this kid like he needs to drive. Like he's got a lot of talent driving. Let's not make him do something he doesn't want to do and frankly isn't good at.
Do you golf now at all? know you
I do.
mentioned
I
that
actually
one.
just got back into golf. So I fixed my shoulder. And
fair. Yeah,
exactly.
that's a-
I wasn't
yeah.
like, I mean, it's been messed up for a long time. So like I was kind of like scared to play golf. I was kind of scared to play sports at all. So I actually got into golf this year and I'm horrible, but
It's all right.
but I'm enjoying it. Like I bring a big bucket of cheap balls, and if I lose them, I don't care. I have fun on the golf course, and I'm that's actually like my side project right now. I'm trying to get better at it, and watching YouTube tutorials, and you know how that
Yeah.
goes. You get deep into it, but I need to learn from Todd Gillen because he's actually a pretty good golfer.
He plays a decent amount of golf.
He does
And
play.
Honestly, and to your point, like I would argue that it's more fun. This is going to sound ridiculous. It's more fun to be bad at golf
Yeah.
than to be really good at golf.
For sure.
Because it gives you like something to work towards. Like it's a hobby now.
Yeah,
you know
for
what I
sure.
mean? But like when you're actually good at golf, when you go out there, like there's an expectation and you just
Yeah.
walk away mad every time. But it's just
Exactly.
more fun to go out there and have no expectations.
Exactly, and I'm starting to do that a little bit. I'm like, no, like don't get too serious about it. Like just a thing. It's like it's your hobby. You're not going to become a professional golfer. So I have some cheap clubs, and I go out there with the cheap balls, and I hit them, and however they land is how they land, and I just want to get a little better where I don't have to spend as much time in the woods, because right now
That's fair.
I do
So much money on balls.
Exactly. It's more expensive to be bad, actually, because you got to.
That's a really
'cause
good point.
You lose a lot more balls, so I want to get good enough just to keep it in the fairway. Like when I hit it, I want to be able to see it when it lands. That's what I'm looking for right now.
Here's a problem. Knowing now what I know about you and the similarities to you and I is you'll have one really good round, and then now it's on.
Oh,
now
yeah.
it's game on.
That's
It's like that first win.
yeah,
You'll have it. You'll break that number, and now you're like, okay, I'm a golfer. I can do this.
I'm serious. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm the next Scheffler. I can do
exactly. The perfectionism starts to set in.
it. Exactly.
I meant to ask you this earlier. Do you have a nickname?
I don't. Well, actually, I do, but I don't really talk about it a whole lot. So in late model days, I'm going to tell anyways, 'cause this is a pretty laid back podcast, right?
Of course. I say fuck all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, Mom.
And so we were racing late models, and I can't remember what track it was, and I did something crazy, like everybody's like running the bottom and like blasted on the top and passed like 3 people in one corner, and my dad came on the radio. He said, "Go on, Cantaloupe," and I was like, "What's he talking about?" We got after the race. He's like, "Man, you drove around him so fast. You got nuts like a cantaloupe." And I was like, "What?" And then that's my new nickname.
That is incredible.
Yeah, so that's like on my late model team. That's kind of my nickname is cantaloupe.
Cantaloupe.
And like we say it, nobody knows what it is like outside of it.
That's even
I guess
better.
now they do. But
It's okay.
yeah.
No one watches this.
Exactly. It's like on the racetrack or like before qualifying, I'm like, "All right, Cantaloupe, go get the pole, bub." Like just
That's
stuff like that.
awesome.
So that was.
And it sounds so like cutesy in a way. Like
Yeah.
it sounds so like it's a fruit. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, cantaloupe, but
I don't know why he chose that fruit out of
love
all
it.
the fruits that are big and round, but I guess that was
well,
the one
it was
that
the
stuck.
appropriate size for what
That's
you did that
it's-
day.
Yeah, it
was.
stuck. It wasn't watermelon, but it was cantaloupe.
Exactly,
Like, it was,
yeah.
It was,
It was
pretty
cantaloupe.
good.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
So that's my nickname on the late model team, but not really publicly, just like within our tight knit group.
I like it. That's funny because I was like, fully expecting like a Layne train, like
Yeah, fast lane rigs and all that
Ooh,
stuff.
I like that.
Yeah. So,
Victory
yeah.
Layne.
Well,
oh wait,
turns out
hold on.
I was
now
actually
we're rocking.
I was actually named kind of that way. So my dad's nickname was like he's in the fast lane Riggs, like Scott Riggs in the fast lane. So they call him Fast Lane Riggs. And there's like Layne Riggs. That kind of sounds good. So literally, I kind of have a racing name, which
That's
is kind of cool.
sick. That's so sick.
It's just I'm just made for it.
Of course, clearly. It comes naturally. It's so sick too because it's a racing name without being like the most generic, like obvious racing name.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kinda
Nobody
sick,
would.
Yeah.
You got to piece it together.
Yeah.
To know.
I love it.
We said I was named after Lane Frost, but we know that's not
No,
true.
that's fine.
It was
Yeah,
Lane
that's just the
Riggs.
front.
Yeah.
That's like when people meet on Tinder and they tell people they met at like a bookstore or something.
Yeah, exactly. No,
Yeah.
it was the Tinder way. it was the Lane Riggs way.
It was the Tinder version. You swiped
yeah.
right.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Layne. Well, I'm gonna do something with you that I do with all of my guests. I know, and it's I make them do a solo performance.
Oh no.
No, I'm totally kidding. But
This
you
is
were
not-
actually like you didn't run, so that was a good start. No,
I'm here.
it's
I'm here.
it's are you a karaoke guy?
No.
Oh, okay. That was a short and sweet answer to that. Okay, that
really
was
not.
that was not what I do with all my guests. All right, what I do with all my guests, it's called long story short because
Okay.
I'm the queen of saying, well, long story short, and
Yeah.
then there goes your day. So 3 questions for you. You feel free to make your answer as long or as short as possible, like that karaoke answer
All
was.
right. That was pretty short.
Great, short and sweet. Yeah, I got everything I needed to know out of that. No follow-ups, no notes. Okay, question number 1.
All right.
When was the last time you cried?
Cried? Probably after I hit those
Yeah,
balls in the
tears.
woods. No, I don't.
The
I don't know.
sniffling coming from the
I'm a pretty
bushes.
emotional person. I cry about some stuff.
I like that.
I don't really hide my emotions that bad. If I feel like I want to cry, I usually do it.
Good.
I've cried at the racetrack a lot of times.
Good.
Yeah, like even like a movie. I'll cry over a movie. Stuff like that. You know, get emotional. I think last time I actually cried was with my family. We were at the beach last week, and we kind of had like we were all kind of drinking too, and we
Sure.
kind of had this like heartfelt family moment, like how much we love each other. And actually, I shed a couple tears. So
I love that.
Yeah, I feel like that's healthy.
Oh, that's so nice. 1,000,000%. See, how much time do you have? Like, I could go on a full rant about how healthy it is for everyone to cry,
Yeah.
but especially men. Like, men want to cry more than they do.
Yeah.
Are there any? See, everyone left. Everybody
Yeah.
heard us talking about crying, and they
Yeah,
were all
we
like,
don't wanna
"Oh,
be in
I'm
here."
dipping. Yeah, I'm out of here." But I truly believe that that's important, and that's probably what helps make you as well-rounded of a person as you are, and as mentally and emotionally, regulated as you are.
Yeah, I try to feel like like just like the celebration thing. I don't try to be something I'm not. I don't try to hide anything. I don't try to overly fake something. Like I feel like I just try to be me, and I feel like that's why I'm a pretty genuine person, and I feel like that's why people like me. You can say at least
That
the majority of people like
authenticity.
me. Yeah, I don't try to be something I'm not, and just thankfully I feel like my personality works out good enough. I can just be me, and it works.
If there's one thing about race fans, and you know this, they can clock authenticity like that for the
yeah.
most part. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, and they resonate with that.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about that, which is
No,
good.
you're good. All right, question 2. When was the last time that you did something that you remember just feeling an immense amount of pride in what you accomplished?
I don't know. I'm gonna not relate it to racing because
Oh,
like
I love this. Thank you.
obviously
Wow.
everything's like when I won that race, like, and it's
Yep.
true. There is an immense amount of pride there.
But life is about more than just racing.
Yeah, it is. All the days kind of come together now. I can't really decide which day's which, but I don't know. I don't really have like specific one thing. I do like, but outside of racing, I'd say my golfing right now is probably my biggest passion. It's like hitting a nice, just perfect iron shot. Like, and I hit it like literally a foot away from the hole when I was like, that felt good.
When
like,
you feel it come off the
yeah,
club and
I
you're like,
looked around.
oh, yeah.
I looked around and I was like, that was good. Like, so I will say that like I'm pretty passionate about that right now, and
Good.
that was something that like the shot that brought you back next time, and
that keeps you going.
yeah, for sure. So I'm gonna go with that.
Do you have any pets? This is not my third question. This is a.
I don't.
Or
Oh,
pausing
I
the game.
do. I had a dog growing up. June, rest in peace. And I do now have a cat at home, like in Bahama. My parents have a cat.
Okay.
But like personally here in Charlotte, I don't have it. I don't understand how people can race and like travel every weekend and have an
No.
animal without having like a sitter or like, 'cause I don't have any family
You
here.
have to have like a very dedicated, significant other that would be willing to.
I'm not doing
to
that.
do that. Yeah. It'd
My
be
girlfriend
tough.
does have a dog named Lacey. And
Oh, that's nice. You
she-
kind of get the dog.
Yeah. But I don't. Yeah, she stays with her parents. Like we don't want to deal with that right
Yeah,
now.
it's
But,
like it's like when your friends have a baby, so you can like go
Yeah,
see
it's
the
like,
baby and
great,
be like,
yeah,
"Oh, so
but it's not-
fun!" But then you're like, "Bye, I gotta
yeah.
go."
When the
Yeah.
diaper gets full, that's yours.
Exactly. You're like, "I got a trip planned.
Exactly. That's
I'm gonna
how
leave it with you."
I don't want any kids right now, obviously, and I don't want any pets right now. Like right now, we're full on traveling the world, seeing everything, and don't have anything that burdens back at home.
That's fair. All right, resuming the game now. Question number 3. What is one piece of media? It can be literally anything, like song, podcast, website, YouTube video.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. You get the gist. That you would recommend to our viewers, but something that you like, not just something that you think people should watch. You a big podcast guy?
No, I actually don't listen to podcasts.
Besides this one, obviously.
Yeah, I like
this one's your
Yeah,
favorite one.
like every time I get in the truck, like this is I don't.
Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
listen to this one.
I figured. I just
Actually,
wanted.
I
Yeah.
only listen to podcasts. Like, so if something happens on the weekend, either I win or like I do something nefarious that I shouldn't be doing.
You're like, are
I go
people
listen to
talking
the
about me?
Doaching Download. I go listen to Denny's podcast, and I go listen to Door Bumper Clear and see what they have to say about it. And like usually, I either end happy or sad about it. But that's the only time I listen. I literally go in there and I like click the search button for like what the words are in it, and I'll search my name and see if they say my name in there.
That's research. Yeah,
exactly.
That's homework.
That's about
yeah.
the only podcast list. I don't know. I like my playlist. I listen to a lot of stuff. I do, and I'm like a divorced dad rock guy. Like
Oh my God,
Creed
same.
and Three Doors
Nickelback?
Down, Nickelback. Like I love. Like my playlist is pretty surrounded by that.
Will you share your divorced dad rock playlist with me? Because if you
I
have
could.
one that you like, because I have a couple, but I'm a big fan.
Oh, and
Yeah.
usually I just hit like the radio button, like for like on Apple Music. Like
You're like a real divorced dad and you use Pandora.
Yeah, no, I don't use Pandora. I use Apple Music. So
Okay.
I'm not that old. That's my dad.
My dad uses Pandora too.
Yeah, exactly.
Dads and all.
He actually messed it up like the other week, and he's like, "Where'd my station go?" And he's not great with technology, so he was all mad. He's like, "You fixed my phone." So yeah, I do listen to a lot of that, and it's funny because I'll play songs, and my dad's like, "I remember when this song came out. I like this song. I haven't heard it in 10 years." So yeah, pretty much anything like surrounded by like those 3 artists, or like anything branching off from that, that's what I listen to, which is not what people would think.
No, I really wouldn't have guessed that. But then again, I could see it. Like,
It's
how do
coming
you,
back. It's coming
It
back.
really is,
I went to
yeah.
the Creed concert last year, and I had a
Did
ball.
you really?
I did. That was fun.
That is not a phrase that many people have said in the last.
I know. I was
10
surprised.
years.
Like the average age there was like 20 to 25, and like
That
and
is
then like
wild.
then like 25% of them were like the actual age group. But it was actually like a lot of young people there, which
That's
was
TikTok.
funny.
I feel like that's like the nature
Yeah.
of like them bringing old songs and stuff back. It's great.
Yeah, but it wasn't like social media made me do it. I kind of always liked those songs, and
Yeah,
it
yeah.
always just like worked out, like Alice in Chains even, and like Godsmack, like even like hard rock stuff, like all those branch of stuff. That's kind of like my number one stuff, which is odd, and country and a little bit of rap here and there. Just kind of depends
Yeah.
on the mood, but yeah, that's something y'all probably didn't know about me.
That's awesome. Good for you. I love it. Creed concert. Do you
was
think
fun.
the Nickelback hate is warranted?
Sometimes they can be a little they can be a little cheesy sometimes, but
That's
like
the
I like
best
the
answer.
old stuff, the good stuff, when it was like like the 2000. Oh, actually I forgot, Dad was sponsored by Nickelback.
No
in
way.
2005 at Richmond. They had like a I guess it was like a artist day, or like
Yeah.
that they had like a bunch of musicians, like each car had like a band on it.
Okay.
And Nickelback was literally across the hood. And
That is so sick.
yeah, in my basement there's a picture of Dad like standing with all of them by the car, and then my mom like is like standing with them all, and she was all excited.
That you would say that. Look at this food
Yeah, exactly.
in your basement.
Yeah,
That's really
exactly.
good. That's really good.
That's funny.
so. You need like a shirt or like something like merch wise. I'm sure they had
Yeah,
to
just
have
like
made
put
something.
that picture out there.
Yeah, yeah.
It's on Google. If you look it up, Scott Riggs Nickelback, and it'll show the picture of them like sitting there like by the car with their name on it. He
That's
said it was
amazing.
actually really embarrassing. They went like 2 laps down. He said he was horrible all
He's
day.
like in front of Nickelback.
Yeah, he was like, he was like, these guys came and they were all excited for the race, and I went out there and we sucked. I literally finished like 30th.
God, it's okay. Nickelback was like 4 laps down in their career at that point, so
exactly.
they weren't judging.
Exactly.
I am kicking myself because I forgot to ask Layne about this crazy detail. I noticed that in Durham County, March 3rd is Layne Riggs Day. And by I noticed that, it's on Wikipedia. It wasn't like I had to go find some crazy thing. But how wild is that? He has a whole day named after him. It's because of his national title. They were celebrating him. But I want a day. I mean, you've got Hot Dog Day. You got like Donut Day. You got Layne Riggs Day. That's so cool. So if you're a big Layne Riggs fan, or if you really, resonated with that interview, mark your calendar for March 3rd. Big day for us all. No, in all seriousness, I hope that you understood what I was saying on the top there about authenticity, because Layne is an incredible person. And what resonated with me truly coming out of that interview was him talking about that moment of giving up racing and pursuing a career in engineering and having to be real with himself. And I truly believe that that comes from a place of being authentic. If he can be that comfortable, confident, and authentic with the people around him, then he's able to be that way with himself and have those moments of realness. And he mentioned it to me as well, that he didn't tell his parents that. He didn't tell anybody that decision. Fortunately for him, it worked out. He got both. How great is that? Some people have it all. No, I'm just kidding. A lot of hard work went into that, and I am very, very thankful for the opportunity to sit down and share Layne's story with you guys. So be sure you're keeping up with Layne through the remainder of the Truck series, and be sure you're keeping up with us. Obviously, we have all kinds of social media. Y'all know the drill. Facebook. No, we don't. That's literally the only social media we don't have. Instagram, TikTok. We also don't have a Twitter. You know what? Re-rack. Follow us on social. We got it all. TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. Do all the things you do when you have a favorite podcast, because this obviously is your favorite podcast. All right, that's all I have to say this week. I love you guys so much, genuinely. Thank you so much for listening. Mom, I love you so much. Thank you so much for listening. And I will talk to y'all next week. But before I do so, I will send you off into this weekend in the wise words of my mother. Please, don't be a dumbass, okay? I love y'all. Bye.